You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time for us now to look at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. And to help make sense of all of these, I have my regulars with me. Odufowokan is here to help us make sense of this. Dari, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Great. And Ify Onyegbule is also standing by on Zoom, joining us from the other side. Ify, good morning. Honorable Ify, good morning.
Good morning. I'm live here in Owerri. I'm sure you were not able to place exactly where I am.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. We'll come to you soon. Now, let's begin with the Blueprint newspaper. Blueprint newspaper says, why there is no going back on petroleum subsidy removal. Federal government is saying this. It says Nigeria can't afford 3 trillion naira subsidy annually. 5,000 naira monthly intervention for 40 million Nigerians only for 1 year. A subsidy in 2022 budget, no 2.4 trillion naira intervention fund. The Senate is saying this. Okay, that's a Blueprint newspaper. From there, let's go to Daily Trust. Federal government molds 2.4 trillion naira palliative as 1.8 trillion naira annual subsidy goes. No provision in 2022 budget. Senate is saying this. And 5,000 naira transport grant for 6 to 12 months. Minister is saying this. And no template to reach the poor. Right? Labour knocks government, says palliatives is a bait. That is what Daily Trust has on the front page of its paper this morning. Daily Times is next. Proposed 5,000 naira monthly grant for poor Nigerians. Senate counters finance minister and says no provision of monthly transport grant for 40 million Nigerians in 2022 budget. Insists that fuel subsidy provided for in next year's appropriation bill. Okay, well, that's Daily Times. Leadership newspaper, subsidy removal. Senate experts query identity of beneficiaries of 2.4 trillion naira palliatives. Okay, no provision for palliatives in 2022 budget. National Assembly saying it will last only for 12 months. The federal government is saying this. Okay, then let's go to This Nigeria. This Nigeria says 5,000 naira post-subsidy plan, misplaced priority. Experts knock federal government, build modular refineries, factories to cushion the effect. That's what This Nigeria has in here. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. On subsidy, Nigerians to spend 6.7 trillion naira on fuel in 2022. NLC Senate fault 5,000 naira palliative. Nigerians to pay additional 3.4 trillion naira annually on petroleum consumption. Cost of doing business will increase. Fuel-induced inflation inevitable. That's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Okay, from there let's go to Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune says 5,000 naira transportation grant not provided for in 2022 budget. The Senate is saying this. So how do you propose that when you don't have it in the budget? Says subsidy accommodated. It will last for only 12 months. Finance Minister is saying this. Okay, the Vanguard is next. It's still on petrol subsidy removal. 5,000 naira grant. Senate disagrees with federal government. NLC, TUC threaten a showdown. 5,000 naira transport grant for 40 million Nigerians not in the budget of 2022, says Finance Minister Committee, Senate Finance Committee Chairman. A grant to cost 2.4 trillion naira annually. And federal government caps implementation to 1 year. It's open invitation for civil unrest. NLC is saying this, and TUC is shocked, insists negotiations ongoing. Okay, The Nation newspaper is next, and it says Labour rejects proposed petrol price hike by government. Source of 5,000 naira transport grant to 40 million Nigerians not yet determined, says Minister. Senate is saying no provision for palliative in next year's budget. NLC, no agreement with government on this. Okay. From there, Daily Sun is next, and it says bandits on rampage in 5 Niger communities. Attack and gang rape women. Really terrible. From there, let's go to News Direct. Nigeria Air Project to create over 70,000 jobs in 2022. That's the federal government is saying this, right? Nigeria Air Project to create over 70,000 jobs in 2022. Recall the minister says it should take off by April 2022. If we have time, we'll talk about that. Then let's go now to First News. First News says asset declaration. Senator Dixon gets clean bill of health. That's what First News has. National economy. Government spending will drive Nigeria's economy in 2022. Fitch is saying this. And then from there, let's go to This Day, which is the last one we're looking at now. Nigeria will survive its challenges despite escalating grievances, says Fitch. Okay, predicts 2.8% GDP growth for next year. Okay, all that on the front page of This Day. That's the last one we're looking at now. Okay. All right, now let's look at, gentlemen, let's look at this issue. Fuel subsidy removal. I believe this is not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even 10th time that this is coming up generally. And we're here again. In fact, in the last, by 2015, 2016, 2017, there was the debate, no, there is no subsidy again. No, there is no subsidy. And then we heard the vice president at the time, a report credited to him saying, oh no, it's only NNPC that is paying subsidy, not the federal government. You know, we heard all of these things. But now we are at it again, and government is saying we have some monies to throw to very poor Nigerians. I wonder how you react to this, Dari.
In remembering the issue of fuel subsidy, you remember the mega rally of, was it 2012, or thereabout? And it was all about subsidy.
Yes.
It was a massive one. Then it was under the presidency of Goodluck Jonathan. And one of the things the current administration came aboard with in campaigns and promises was the issue of subsidy. When people make promises when seeking positions, I wonder why they get there and forget those promises. A subsidy removal was bad. We saw almost all the promoters of APCs at that time supporting the move against the government of that era. But today, we are set to remove subsidy. I am usually not concerned about the theory and semantics of subsidy removal, but more concerned about what it does to the average Nigerian. If you are saying possibly we will buy fuel for 340, 350, we are buying for 165,
162,
165 now.
Yeah.
You can see the effect. Nigerians are grumbling. Nigerians are not smiling. Nigerians are suffering.
But they still argue that Nigeria has the cheapest pump price.
But Nigeria has the cheapest pump price. The economic power of the average Nigerian, have you considered it? At 165, do you know what transport goes for? Forget about those of us who get fuel into our cars. Those who have to take transport from one place to another on a daily basis will tell you what transporters do the moment there is just a little increase in fuel price. How much more if you are doing 100% increase? A lot of people will no longer be able to fuel their cars and move. The cars will be grounded. Let's face the reality. The impact of this will be huge. The impact of this will be devastating. It will not help the economy. The SMEs will be worse hit. And once all the small-scale industries, small-scale enterprises are grounded, unemployment will be on the rise. Government's desire to create jobs for Nigerians will be defeated. The mantra that Buhari wants to leave people out of poverty will be dead. More people will sink into poverty. We must understand the fact that economy is not just about getting the government to work. It is making the people to keep working. when your economy, when your government is working and the people are not working, then I wonder what you are governing. This is going to be a big blow. The government on its part should sit down and have a rethink. At a time when Nigerians are bearing this kind of burden, economic and financial burdens, parents can no longer send their children to school. I can tell you that for free. Many parents can no longer send their children to school. Okay. So if you add this burden to what is already existing, you want to crumble the people.
All right. Most of all of the papers we have this morning, they're all talking about the fuel subsidy removal, the plan by the federal government, and also the planned 5,000 naira to be given to about 40 million vulnerable or very poor Nigerians. When that happens, the federal government is saying that program is going to last for 1 year, but there's still disagreement from the National Assembly as to saying that this provision is not in the budget for 2022. So we have Dario Odufowokan here in the studio, who has been talking about this. I also have with me Ify Onyegbule joining me on Zoom from Owerri. Ify, now let me come to you on this. I want the idea of sharing money to Nigerians, especially where or when we don't have the actual data to capture those who are eligible for such kind of distribution. The debate is still out there where Nigerians are really skeptical about it. But here we go again with the proposal to distribute 5,000 naira to 40 million Nigerians. Talk to us about this.
Now, so much was going through my mind at the time that you were talking with Dari, and for the very first time, I'm going to start with Dari with some of the things, or most of the things that he's talked about. Now, you just also reminded us that the government has said that this plan will only last for a year. And what does it do to me? It simply, it jolts me back to reality. Now, people will be wondering, the election, I'm sure you understand, is in 2023. So if you say this is going to last for 1 year, would you say it is wrong for people to understand that this is just a political thing, if you ask me? If you remember what it was, when they went about town distributing 10,000 to market women, they called it the market money or something like that. That was the reason. Now you're looking at it, how did that end, where those people are able to pay back? Now we're looking at 5,000. What is 5,000 naira in today's Nigeria? Not many would agree with what it is that the president is trying to do. At some point, Dari was talking about the Occupy Nigeria protest. And if you remember, fuel was not even at 100 naira at that time. Nigerians poured into the people who are trying to do the same thing now, talking about taking off subsidy, they were the ones at the forefront of that protest. And all manner of things were said and done, you know, with the gentleman who was in office at that time. This is a wrong step in the wrong direction, not at this time. They're saying the money is not even planned for. Why are you coming up with that now? How are you able to identify this 40 million persons that you've talked about? I think they should take a look at it again, because as it is, Nigerians are wise, okay? They have woken up to the reality that some of the things that you said to us in 2015 were all blatant lies. They have seen it for what it is, and they're waiting in 2023 to truly vote their conscience. This 5,000, I don't know how it's going to be. Back in my home, where I come from, there are 4 people there. Are those people going to be represented? Will my name be in that register where you have 40 million Nigerians who will benefit from this 5,000?
Honorable Ify Onyegbule, the point there is we are looking forward to you even giving 5,000 naira to people. To about 200. Dari said to about 200 or even more. Exactly.
Forget about your name.
Because if you have to get 5,000 naira, then what? The rest of us. The rest. How much are we going to get? Because you are honorable. You know what the thing is.
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
Forget about your name making the list.
We have 4 people around us, if you understand what I'm saying. Now you're going to look at it, people will begin to have clicks. This is good. Remember what happened with the 774,000 jobs that had to be shared amongst politicians. What are we talking about? When will Nigeria get better? That's the thing. You see people all over social media now. People who have traveled, who have made it in other parts of the world are saying to others, come to me, pay some amount of money, and I will show you the best way to get out of the country. I don't think this is what it should be. Government needs to set up or put up a very conducive environment, and you will see the young Nigerians finding a way for themselves. Nigerians are very ingenious people. They're very resilient people. They are people who know what to do with their hands. All they need for you to give them is a very conducive environment where they can get to thrive. So I'm thinking this idea of fuel subsidy, let me even break our hearts as it is. I bought diesel the other day, I think 1,000 liters as it is. It's about 350 something naira. So you're saying to me that fuel and diesel will now be in the same category. How will people get to run their businesses? Is anyone thinking about this? Businesses are folding off. They're going to smaller countries close to Nigeria. Are we thinking we need to look inwards and solve what it is that's wrong with us as a people? It is a fundamental problem. And unless we deal with that, gentlemen, I'm sorry, we're just going to be going round in circles.
Let me quote somebody by asking, how did we get here? All right. Now, Dari, the point is 2.4 trillion naira. That's a lot of money. I wonder if that money is deployed into some kind of economic recovery program or trying to create platforms where people can get jobs and stuff like that. I wonder how far that can go.
To go pretty further than this distribution would go. You see, the idea of distribution, I want to beg the handlers of this administration. If there is anything I've constantly disagreed with since they came about, it's the feeling that giving out handouts will solve our problems. It will not. They've not. It's almost everything has been about handouts. They gave handouts to governors to go and pay salary. Many of them pocketed the money. Salaries are still not paid. They came up with handouts for governors again to solve the problem of pensioners. The market money is handouts. Humanitarian ministry is sharing money for COVID. Handouts. This again, 5,000 naira handouts. Handouts will not solve our national problem. It will not solve our economic problem. It will just give money for the boys. You know what I mean? This is just another opportunity for some people somewhere to corner 3/4 of this money and announce to us that it has been shared. I'm saying this. The 3/4 of this money will go into private pockets. How do you monitor the 40 million Nigerians that will get this money? The Minister for Humanitarian and Disaster Management, or whatever that ministry is, has been telling us the huge amount that has been spent. We can't find the equivalent on the streets.
No, they've been feeding children, so...
The feeding, school feeding program have stopped in the last 4 months. This is something Nigerians don't know. The school feeding project has been on hold for 4 months. Let her come and tell us what happened to the monies for these 4 months. We will just be told it has been spent. 4 months going on or more. At least I know that in the last 4 months, there have been no school feeding in Lagos. And these are projects that we think will help solve problems. What I'm saying, like you rightly said, these 2.4 million, put it into helping SMEs and startups and provide a platform where people can go and draw this either as loan or as grants and see how effective this will be. Don't share money to Nigerians in a manner we can not monitor. The Senate and National Assembly should wade into this. We don't want 5,000 naira. How much fuel can that buy at 340?
Okay. Now the Senate National Assembly is already saying that well, there's no provision for this amount of money in the budget for 2022, but somehow maybe they might still go ahead with it. Now, if the NLC, just in 1 minute, NLC is saying, well, we are not sure this is going to take off. As far as they are concerned, the idea of subsidy removal, they are not on board with that yet, not to talk of how this is going to go. What do you make of this? Are we looking forward to a showdown? Is that what you're seeing?
Now, when you talk about the NLC of today, I think you should take the word showdown out of it. They come on television, radio, pages of newspapers, they say one thing. When they get into that closed door, I wonder what happens inside those closed door meetings. They come out and you're hearing something else. I just think Nigerians should brace up for what's going to happen. People are looking forward to a white Christmas. What kind of Christmas is it going to be for the average Nigerian? For me, the 5,000 is a no-no. I am not interested in what the NLC is trying to do because I truly don't trust the NLC anymore. But let's also look at the National Assembly. Will they stand by what it is that they're saying? Well, we'll just have a few days or a month or, to see exactly how that runs. But we'll wait and see exactly how this pans out. Because in Nigeria, what they say to you is practically different from what happens when they begin to act. And that's how I'm going to leave it this morning.
Well, we have to leave it here now. But Dari has said that, please, prepare a list of not less than 200 or 500 people of us that you have to start giving 5,000 palliative for every month for 1 year, please, because you need to support federal government in this regard. Thank you very much, Ify Onyegbule, for your time on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dari, thank you for coming as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right.